Today is International Peace Day, and it really gives us this incredible opportunity to ask ourselves, what is peace? And why is it so hard for us to actually achieve? What is it that's keeping us from living in peace? Whether it's with ourselves, in our families, in our communities, in our cities, in our countries, between our countries, or with us and Mother Earth. All of that which is happening today, which is stealing our peace today, whether it's that inner peace that I can't find, or whether it's the lack of peace between different races and religions, between different countries. It all stems from this ignorance, this myth of separation. If I feel separate from myself, separate from God, separate from the universe, if I'm disconnected, I suffer depression, I suffer sadness, I suffer despair. When we're disconnected from each other, whether in a family, in a company, in a community, there's conflict. When we feel that each other is separate, there's conflict. There's competition, there's jealousy, there's you or me. When there's separation between us on the basis of the color of our skin, of our culture or our country, or our race or our religion, or our socio-economic status or our sexual orientation, whatever it may be, as we divide the world into us and them, me and you, and we create these boundaries of separation, we suffer. We suffer in those. Because when the other is separate from us, then and only then are we able to wreak such havoc upon their lives. Then and only then can there be violence, crime. When we realize all are us, you are me, then who to cheat, who to harm, who to compete with, who to be jealous of, who to be angry at. And on this day of International Peace Day, we recognize so deeply that we can only bring to the world that which we have within us, that the outer world is only a reflection of the inner world. And therefore, our inner peace becomes not just something that we need in order to be joyful, awakened, but actually it becomes our responsibility. It becomes our dharma. Because until I experience peace within myself, I cannot bring it to the world. Until I know that we are one. Yes, maybe different colors, different race, different religion, different way of life, different languages, different ways of thinking. But we're one. The content is one. The form is different. The essence is one. The packaging is different. But what matters is content, is essence, one soul, one spirit, one consciousness, one heart, one being. That is the highest truth for each of us. And when we realize that, on a personal level, we experience the real peace, the real joy, the real oneness that we are longing for in our lives. And when we experience it, then we are able to be assets in the world. Because then that whole concept of competition, of jealousy, of you or me, of fighting, of stealing, of lying, of betraying, of harming, it disappears. So on this day of International Peace Day, let us all commit ourselves really to an internal path. And it doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what path you follow. But let us all commit ourselves to a deep spiritual path of recognizing that we are not just these physical bodies, that we're not our roles, our titles, our bank accounts, our careers, the color of our skin, our religion, our culture, and to stop identifying as that and drawing lines and borders and boundaries between us, but to connect with, to experience the truth of who we are, that love, that consciousness, that divinity, that infinity, and to move through the world like that. And lastly, just as importantly, let us look at our definition of peace, because our definition of peace needs to expand. It's not just enough to refrain from harming each other, to refrain from stealing or killing. Our definition of peace today must expand to ensure that all of our sisters and brothers of every race, of every religion, have access to safe and sufficient water, to hygiene, to sanitation. More people suffer and die every year from lack of clean water than from all forms of violence combined. So let our definition of peace expand and realize that on this day, this International Day of Peace, we commit ourselves not only to ending the wars of bombs and missiles and guns, but to ending the violence against Mother Nature, to ending the violence to our water, our air, our soil, through which our sisters and brothers of every species are being harmed, are dying. Let that definition of peace expand today. Let International Day of Peace be celebrated, not only by us, but by the trees, the rivers, the mountains, and all species with whom we share this sacred planet, including the future. Because if there's no water, no clean air, no clean soil, there won't be a future. There can't be peace. So let us commit ourselves to that as we ring the bell of peace. Let us commit ourselves to ensuring that full, whole, complete peace. Today, on International Day of Peace, from the banks of Mother Ganga, we have to look at our definition of peace. How do we define peace?